And we're only a week or so, into this thing, and just one day in pads, which I'm sure is beneficial to some degree. Just how has your progress gone? How different is it in training camp versus OTAs versus what will be coming, which is a preseason game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so far it's relatively similar to OTAs. Just obviously the days are a lot longer.
Yeah.
And there's more football involved. But I mean, now putting pads on, we're taking that next step. Yesterday being the first day we put pads on. But I thought it went well. I think just kind of introducing the physicality and the speed at this level. I think I'm going to adjust well, and I think that's I'm excited. This is now we're playing football for real, so it's fun, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what the rest of training camp holds.
You got your first taste with the pads against Vita, Kalijah. How'd that feel yesterday and moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. It's awesome to go against guys like that now, because they're some of the best in the league and around the league that I'll see all year. So being able to go against guys like that, it's sort of the sink or swim mentality, and you either lose a rep and you learn from it against those guys, or you win a rep and you build a little bit of confidence. So I think building on that and just getting to go against those guys over and over will only make me a better player. So super grateful for guys like Vita and Kalijah and all those guys in that room. We got a really talented defensive line, so it's really awesome to get to see that every day.
How would you describe the mental burden of center as opposed to guard or tackle?
As opposed to guard or tackle, maybe a little bit more, just because you're sort of setting up, you're sort of setting up the play for the offensive line. It starts with, it sort of starts with your identifications and your calls. So I mean, it is a slightly more of a burden, but I'd say the offensive line position at the NFL as a whole is a lot of a mental burden that people may not necessarily realize. You see a lot throughout the year from different defenses, and you've got to be able to block all of it against any play. So I think just adjusting to that is going to be is obviously going to take some time, but I think I'm coming along well, and just trying to take it one day at a time and keep learning and keep growing and just keep sort of adjusting to this offense, and I think it's going well so far.
Lots of transition for you this year. Obviously, new position, new offense, new level of play. Which teammate would you say has been able to help you with that transition the most thus far?
Yeah, I think it'd be tough to just name one. I think it's a testament to our offensive line room, how helpful all the vets have been, and even the rookies. Rooming with Elijah Klein, and so just being able to talk football with him in the room and sort of study what we need to study, but all the vets. I mean, Tristan's been great. Ben Bredesen's been awesome. Suo Peta, they've all been great. I mean, Rob's been awesome. Cody's been great. Luke's been great. So I mean, like I could list just the whole room. Like, everyone's been awesome. We have a great presence in there, great veteran presence, and so just be able to be a rookie with this O-line room. I'm really fortunate to have the guys I do.
How comfortable do you feel in this offense in terms of like being vocal? I know you've talked before about like wanting to be the guy that the team can rely on to know a lot of things. So how's that communication and just kind of identifying what to know and being loud?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's coming along. Obviously, we're only 5 days into training camp, and so there's a lot of relationships to be built and trust to be worked on, and that comes through practice and reps, and so it'll get there eventually. But that's something that as a center you've always got to continue to work on, and so that'll be it's obviously a point of emphasis for me in training camps. Just being good with my communication and being loud at the line of scrimmage and definitive, and so I think that's something I need to continue to work on for sure.
We talked to you in this room the day after you were drafted. It's hard to believe it was a full 3 months ago. What would you say is like the biggest thing you've learned over the first 3 months of kind of just transitioning into the NFL?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I've learned is just to just try to be patient. Listen more than you speak. Learn from everyone. Just sort of be a sponge. There's a lot I don't know. That'll continue for years and years. So I just think trying to learn as much as you can, whether that's in the meeting room, on the field, in the dining room talking about football or whatever. Just learning the ins and outs of the organization and the playbook, and just things like that. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned is, hey, I just need to, you know, sort of sit back and you know, soak in everything I can, because you know, the NFL's a pretty crazy place to work, and so I think just trying to you know, take it one day at a time and process all that.
Graham, have you had your welcome to the NFL moment where you're like, whoa, this is real?
I mean, I think that'll come more in preseason games and as we get farther into training camp and you know, the regular season. So I mean, nothing specifically comes to mind, but you know, obviously just getting out there in pads and like we talked about earlier, like guys like Vita and Kalijah and Yaya and all those guys out there who are just really talented defensive linemen. It's pretty cool to see and the talent we have on the defensive side of the ball. So I think, you know, I wouldn't call it a welcome to the NFL moment just yet. I know I'll have, you know, several, but I think just like, you know, seeing the speed and the power of the guys at this level, it's awesome, and I'm definitely glad they're on my team.
What's it like trying to earn Mayfield's trust, and that's going to be a big part going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough challenge. You know, I'm the young kid in the room that I just got here, and so I've got to you know, learn the playbook. I've got to, you know, sort of almost not catch up, but you know, sort of learn, you know, like I've got to act like I've been here a long time, you know what I mean, by learning the playbook and being able to go out there and kind of just, you know, go through it and know exactly what I'm doing and be able to, you know, respond to different looks and you know, if the play changes at the line of scrimmage, be able to, you know, handle that accordingly and handle the different cadences and handle the things like that. So just learning in detail is the biggest thing, and I think, you know, I'm starting to do that, and you know, that'll just come as time goes, and I think, you know, I'm on a good track, and I just got to keep, you know, studying and building, and you know, we'll get there.
You know,
What's
Brett,
the personal adjustment been like off the field? Are you hanging out with all the offensive linemen? I know that you guys like to hang out together. What's that been like with who you hanging out with? What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of free time in training camp, believe it or not. You're here most of the day. But like I said earlier, like Elijah Klein's been my roommate. He was, you know, the other lineman drafted. So, you know, obviously I've been spending a lot of time with him. But I mean, everyone was kind of gone for the summer. I was back in Nashville working out. I spent a lot of time with Justin School. He's also from Nashville, so he sort of, you know, is another guy I forgot to mention earlier, but sort of take me under his wing and, you know, showed me his routine in the off season and you know, what he does and things that have helped him in his career. I think he's going into year 6 now, so he's been doing it really well for a while now. So, you know, I learned a lot from him. He sort of, you know, showed me his resources in Nashville and kind of introduced me to him. So I spent a lot of time with him this off season. But yeah, just, you know, again, continuing to, you know, gel with the guys and hang out with the guys and continue to build that trust, because, you know, it's a long year and we're going to need to, you know, rely on each other to, you know, succeed.
Graham, what do you see with Klein's game? You talked about him. What do you see on the field with him?
Yeah, I think Klein's really talented. He's got great feet. He's got great hands. You know, you see it come out a lot in pass protection. Sort of just the way he can move his feet and mirror defenders and can sort of react at a pretty, you know, high level. And then, you know, he's great with his hands. He throws his hands off the jump. He creates disruptions, and I think you see, you know, a talented player in there. And just like me, he's got to continue to develop, and we got to continue to learn. But I think, you know, there's the building blocks for a really good player for sure.
Speaking of
a few more,
technique,
please.
have you and Coach Carberry kind of isolated one specific area of technique that's a point of emphasis for you in this training camp?
Not necessarily. I think there's several areas that I need to, you know, continue to get better. I think, you know, it's just about, you know, playing long is a coaching point. We like to say, you know, be able to keep defenders off your body and hold the depth of the pocket, be able to pass off, you know, twists and games and you know, sort of create space in the run game. I think that's a big emphasis for me and something I got to continue to work on.
Ben Bredesen has played a lot of football, but he's new to this team, so you've been out there with him quite a bit.
Yeah.
What have you gathered about his game, and how can he help you?
Yeah, Ben's been so great to me, especially just, you know, coming into OTAs and now just being a veteran presence for me, and especially, you know, when he's at left guard and I'm right there at center. He's really helpful at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, he spent some time at center in New York, and so he's been, you know, he's got a lot of experience. He's seen a lot of, you know, different people and played a lot of different teams, obviously, over the years. So just having his experience and having a vet like that next to you at the line of scrimmage can be really helpful. You know, he's very aware of where I stand and how new I am to this and the position. And so he's been super helpful. I can't say enough about Ben and how helpful he's been.
You've been using the real-time practice film on the sidelines during practice. Is that something you had at Duke, and can you talk about how that helps you?
No, I didn't have that at Duke, but it has been very helpful just to see little things, in between periods, something you might see come up later in practice, you're able to correct right there on the spot. I think it's super helpful and pretty cool technology.
All right, thanks guys.